Penguin Random House presents Strange Burdens by Sugata Srinivasaraju. Read by Sayam Sharma. For Chiranjeev Singh, in an easterly home, when the doors open, light flows out to wash the world and fill it with graciousness. What could be put up against the noise of time? Only that music which is inside ourselves, the music of our being, which is transformed by some into real music, which over the decades, if it is strong and true and pure enough to drown out the noise of time, is transformed into the whisper of history. Julian Burns, The Noise of Time, 2016. He was remembering something Gunter Grass had once said to him about losing, that it taught you more profound lessons than winning did. The victors believed themselves and their worldviews justified and validated and learned nothing. The losers had to re-evaluate everything they had thought to be true, worth fighting for, and so had a chance of learning the hard way the deepest lessons life had to teach. The first thing he learned was that now he knew where the bottom was. Salman Rushdie, Joseph Anton, A Memoir, 2012. But that's absurd, utterly absurd. As I've learned in this job, not only are the people in government never put off by what we judge to be absurd, they make use of absurdities to dull conscience and to destroy reason. Jose Saramago, Seeing, 2006. Well, son, I'll tell you. Life for me ain't been no crystal stair, but all the time has been a climbing on and reaching landings and turning corners and sometimes going in the dark, where there's ain't been no light. So boy, don't you turn back. Don't you set down on the steps, 'cause you finds it's kinda hard. Don't you fall now, for I's still going, honey. I's still climbing. Langston Hughes, Mother to Son. Introduction. This book is not a biography. It examines and analyzes Rahul Gandhi's ideas, leadership, reason, and emotion since he officially entered politics in March 2004. It journeys all the way to the conclusion of the Bharat Jodo Yatra in Srinagar on 30 January 2023, and also captures the dilemmas of his disqualification a couple of months later. The narrative here crawls across 2 decades, with the intention of understanding his politics and predicaments, confusions and contradictions, triteness and triumph, as well as his burdens and benignity. It is not the purpose of this book to understand his failures and successes in tabular columns, but speculate in the best traditions of political commentary why he is where he is, both politically and as an individual. The book does not seek to answer questions of his suitability or unsuitability for a public role, but is rather about his criticism, about how he is caught in the currents of history. The book is not an excavation of Rahul Gandhi's personal life, but will plough through material that is already in the public domain. His interviews, speeches, commentaries, and social media responses. In other words, it is not a myth-busting or myth-making exercise, nor is it an inquisition. It is rather a pursuit of political insight. Interestingly, this caveat has to be given right at the beginning, because an easy method has been followed to either run down Rahul Gandhi or simply celebrate him. The narrative here is extremely conscious of this binary pitfall. Since the book is about Rahul Gandhi and the Congress Party, it cannot be about Narendra Modi and the Bharatiya Janata Party or BJP. Examining one automatically illuminates the other. The book looks at the contrasts and convergence of 2 personalities and the 2 parties they represent. There is no one specific question that this book pursues with academic stubbornness, but attempts a narrative that accommodates many questions, many emotions, and many colors. It is like looking out of a caravan that is passing unhurriedly through a diverse geography. Initially, I wanted this book to be a longish essay, a bit like a New York profile, with the elements of new journalism mixed with classic ingredients of the early to mid-20th century. English essay that meanders through the gardens of reflection, reason, impression, opinion, self-doubt, sympathy, and humanity. The recipe included a mild seasoning of polemics. But as I began to write, it grew beyond an essay. That is partly thanks to the personality of Rahul Gandhi, the existential crisis that the Nehru-Gandhi dynasty and the Congress party faces, as well as the turbulence of our extraordinary times. There are many questions in the mind of people, and these are very real. The dominant perception is that the party of our freedom movement has reached a precipice. People wonder what electoral personalities exist before Congress party and ask if Rahul Gandhi is its nemesis or survivor. Does he have a realistic chance of nurturing it back to life and glory? Is he destined to do so? Will there be a moment in the future when India will have to regret that it repeatedly wrote him off? If such a moment does arrive, will he accept it with grace or grudge, or will he be too emotionally worn out to respond? The book does not have definitive answers to these questions, but is equally curious. In Rahul Gandhi, the political and the personal are intertwined, and that makes him a fascinating subject of study. His individual destiny is enmeshed in the destiny of his party, and the destiny of his party, in turn, is argued to be linked with the very destiny of India. There is another popular argument that Rahul Gandhi is a reluctant politician, that he is trapped in a role he does not like to be in. How far is this true? There can, of course, be no official response, but only a reasoned conjecture from his utterness. The trauma that Rahul Gandhi and his family experienced when his grandmother Indira Gandhi and father Rajiv Gandhi were assassinated was enormous. Has this impacted his political life? Is there a difference in how his sister handled this tragedy? Priyanka Gandhi, meeting her father's killers in a Tamil Nadu prison many years ago, offers clues of the family's struggle to reconcile with their humongous loss. The book's opening chapter is about Rahul Gandhi's loss, grief, and reconciliation. Rahul Gandhi, his mother Sonia Gandhi, and sister Priyanka Gandhi have over the years consistently spoken the language of forgiveness, which is not very familiar in a blood sport called Indian politics. They have also repeatedly spoken against hatred and have embraced ideas of love and compassion. Can a personal need and an ideal like this become a political ideal and a cause? Is politics about pragmatism, ruthlessness, Machiavellian instinct, and erasure of moral and emotional compunctions and conflict? What did Rahul Gandhi hugging Modi in Parliament suggest? Was it a gesture that came from deep personal conviction? Or was it a therapy prescription? Or was it an act of political strategy to portray one's opponent as being heartless and a tyrant? The privilege. Post the assassinations of his family members, Rahul Gandhi led a very protected life. Even before that, it was a tightly controlled environment. There are rumors and references to him having lived an incognito life with a false name in the West for security reasons. The difficulty of living like that is something that we do not know from Rahul Gandhi. But we can imagine what it must have been reading a master like Salman Rushdie, who, in his memoirs, Joseph Anton, deconstructs it brilliantly. What happens to a person when he is protected by round-the-clock security? How does it impact his thinking and morph his reaction to the world? Rahul Gandhi has practically lived being watched by strangers in proximity all his life. The fact that he still comes across as sensitive and coherent is his personal triumph. We allude to literary characters like Hamlet, Prufrock.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?